Why did Russia attack modern Ukraine?
Moscow's imperial mindset. Moscow's imperial mindset is considered one of the key factors in understanding Russia's current policy toward Ukraine. At its core is the belief that neighboring countries should not be viewed as fully independent partners, but rather as territories that ought to remain under Moscow's political, economic, or military influence. This way of thinking developed over several centuries and became deeply rooted in the traditions of the Russian state. Many analysts believe that it continues to shape the country's foreign policy even today. Beginning with the era of the Grand Duchy of Moscow and later the Russian Empire, the state steadily expanded its borders. New territories were incorporated into the empire, bringing with them peoples who had their own languages, cultures, and historical traditions. Instead of treating these nations as equal partners, the imperial authorities often sought to unify them, strengthen central control, and integrate them into a single political system. It was during this period that the idea took hold that a state's greatness depended not only on its economic or cultural achievements, but also on the size of its territory and its ability to dominate neighboring lands.
After the collapse of the Soviet Union, many former republics gained independence and began choosing their own paths of development. For most of them, this was a natural consequence of the end of the Cold War. However, many political figures in Moscow viewed the dissolution of the Soviet Union as the loss of a great power and a significant reduction of Russia's international influence. As a result, the idea that Russia should restore its special role throughout the former Soviet region has remained a recurring theme in Russian political discourse. According to many experts, this ambition continues to influence Russia's foreign policy. Ukraine occupies a unique place within this imperial concept. Because of shared historical ties, cultural connections, and geographic proximity, many members of Russia's political elite have long regarded Ukraine as a country that should remain within Moscow's sphere of influence. This is one of the reasons why Ukraine's determination to pursue its own domestic and foreign policies has often been met with strong opposition from the Kremlin. As Ukrainian society increasingly embraced democratic values, closer cooperation with Europe, and an independent national course, these developments came into direct conflict with Russia's imperial vision for the region.
Imperial thinking is expressed not only through military power. It is also reflected in information campaigns, cultural influence, and interpretations of history. This is why official statements often refer to ideas such as historical unity, one people, or Russia's special responsibility toward neighboring countries. Such narratives can create the impression that interference in the affairs of other sovereign states is somehow natural or even justified. Many historians and political scientists argue that interpretations of history are frequently used as instruments of political influence. At the same time, the modern international order is built on very different principles. Since the end of the Second World War, the international community has broadly accepted that every sovereign nation has the right to determine its own future, choose its own allies, and pursue its own path of development according to the will of its people. These principles are reflected in international law and form the foundation of many international organizations. For this reason, attempts to impose political control over another country through the use of force are generally met with strong condemnation by much of the international community.
For these reasons, many researchers argue that the causes of the Russian-Ukrainian war cannot be explained solely by military or economic factors. They also point to the continuing influence of imperial thinking within parts of Russia's political leadership. In their view, as long as neighboring countries are seen as belonging to a special sphere of influence rather than as fully sovereign states, tensions in the region are likely to remain. Understanding this historical and political legacy helps explain why Ukraine's independence is considered so significant, not only for Ukrainians themselves, but also for the future of Europe as a whole.
Dear friends, what do you think about this topic? If you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with others who may be interested in the topic. I would truly appreciate your support. I wish all of you peace, health, and all the best. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching.